Chapter 11. Since he already agreed to be a guest at Old Man Li's house, Yang Chen naturally wouldn't forget to come. Staying true to his words is part of being a gentleman. Yang Chen uses this excuse to highlight the greatness in his personality. As he is broke and unwilling to stay any longer near that cold and crazy yet beautiful Lin Ruoxi, Yang Chen chooses to return home on foot. Since the distance isn't long, added with Yang Chen's physique which is way beyond ordinary people's imagination, he can just quickly sprint home without much effort. It is already evening when he arrives home. After taking a shower, Yang Chen once again opens his wooden chest, scans it and takes a pale blue-white striped shirt and a pair of classic white shorts. After buttoning some of his buttons in the wrong places, Yang Chen takes a look at his reflection in the cracked mirror on the wall. Generally speaking, he is somewhat handsome. Yang Chen deeply inhales the faint jasmine fragrance of Lin Ruoxi that is still permeating the room while he thinks about how funny it is that tomorrow he has to marry a woman whom he has not known for more than a day. However, once he thought of how Lin Ruoxi's resolute eyes made his frozen heart turn scorching hot, Yang Chen feels he is having feelings for this beautiful girl. Is he trying to compensate for her? Or is she truly different from others? Yang Chen does not know answer to these questions, thus he decides to marry her and let time give him the answer as to what kind of feelings he has for her. Old Man Li's house is not that far, but without any transport, Yang Chen has to walk for half an hour before arriving in the area. This is an old residential area in the West region, surrounded by civilians who are too poor to rent an apartment. Generations who live here have protected the archaic southern flavors of the area. After passing by several small houses, he can already see smoke from the kitchen coming out of the chimney. Yang Chen then knocks on a very old red wooden door. Very soon after knocking, the wooden door opens. Behind the door is a cheery young face, Big Brother Yang. You're here. Jingjing, long time no see. Yang Chen smiles. The girl in front of him has changed a lot in half a year, somewhat surprising him. Li Jingjing's face is still elegant and refined like usual, with curly eyelashes, a delicate little nose and a petite mouth, typical of the classic southern girl. She wears a white short-sleeved t-shirt, and tight-fitting blue jean shorts, revealing a pair of beautiful white legs. Seeing Yang Chen's eyes sweep up and down with a naughty smile, Li Jingjing feels embarrassed, yet at the same time she secretly feels delighted. She coquettishly says, Big Brother Yang, stop staring and come in. Yang Chen laughs and says, Jingjing knows how to feel embarrassed now huh? You won't lose anything if it is just me, you know. Or are you afraid of your boyfriend getting jealous? What do you mean? I don't have a boyfriend. Li Jingjing immediately denies it while furrowing her brows and looking a little angry. Okay. I'm just kidding. Yang Chen is a little helpless since he obviously cannot tell what this girl is thinking, but how could he tarnish such a pure soul? Thus, he always keeps his distance and reminds her that he is her brother, friend and is not the man she is thinking of. Inside Old Li's living room, Old Li happily welcomes him. Little Yang, my child Jingjing was helping her mother cook earlier, but the moment she heard you knock on the door she rushed out like a rabbit. Dad. Stop speaking nonsense. Li Jingjing acts bashfully while clinging onto Old Li and Yang Chen laughs and sits with Old Li. All of the furniture in the house are decades old, with their somewhat withered red paint, yet it also expresses a classic preference. Under the dim light, the summer flies about in the house, a breeze blows through the corridor, everything appears to be very peaceful. Drinking the tea that Li Jingjing has brought out for him, Yang Chen suddenly feels a sense of fulfillment that he never experienced before. As he looks out at the night sky, the moon is somehow a little more dazzling. Young man, stop displaying such a disillusioned look, a great future awaits you. Old Li gently jokes while drinking his cup of green tea. Yang Chen returns to his senses, smiles and says, you old man, all ladies prefer profound men. Am I doing a good job pretending to look deep? Hee, Old Li laughs, little Yang, others might not notice, but I have spent half of this year interacting with you, so I am very clear of your character. You are not pretending, you little brat. If it wasn't because of some event in your past, why would you want to sell Mutton skewers for no reason? Yang Chen is unable to say anything else, as a man like old Li, who has experienced hardship, naturally would be able to tell that he is hiding something deep inside. Nonetheless, what old Li is imagining of is very far from the truth. Some people are destined to be lonely, because nobody can associate with them. Dinner is very luxurious. Old Li's family specially butchered one of their old hens, and makes an exquisite chicken soup. Fish and crab are also brought out, thus to old Li's family's financial conditions, this meal is even more luxurious than New Year's. Little Yang, you should eat more, although it is a little simple, it is still our family's token of gratitude. Aunt Li's wrinkled yet happy face affectionately looks at Yang Chen as if she is looking at her own son. Yang Chen does not say much during the meal as he continuously gulps down another mouthful of meat. He knows very well that this is the only way to make the couple happy. Li Jingjing from time to time also gives Yang Chen more food. She would even secretly peek at Yang Chen eating while her parents are not paying attention. When she hears that Yang Chen says the dishes taste good, she feels as if her heart is being filled with sweet honey, since most of the dishes were made by her. In the beginning Yang Chen does not plan to drink alcohol, but he was unable to hold back since he hasn't smoked, and also because of the matter of the fake marriage. Yang Chen is also too lazy to reason with himself more and drank a few cups of soju with old Li. The burning feeling in his stomach was very comfortable. Little Yang, if it wasn't for the money you lent us in this half a year, our family would be facing much worse hardship. Now that our Jingjing has found a job, next time you can come be our guest more often, I would also cook some good food for you. Aunt Li happily says. Yang Chen's face was already flushed red, yet he is still somewhat sober. He happily asks, oh, Jingjing has found a job. What job? I've been accepted by Zhonghai's Yizhong High School to be an English teacher there. Due to the former teacher being pregnant, I'm now a temporary formal teacher. Li Jingjing quietly smiles. A teacher. And also an English teacher, our Jingjing really isn't simple huh? Yang Chen nods satisfyingly, the wages are also not low, when the time comes please don't forget your big brother Yang. The old Li couple also proudly laughs. Their late-born daughter has a great future at last. This news naturally makes them extremely happy. Li Jingjing pouts and says bashfully, then when you are free, brother Yang must come to the school and find me, otherwise how would I remember big brother Yang? Alright, I'll definitely go, Yizhong is a well-known high school, I've never been there before. Yang Chen happily replies. After the meal, old Li affectionately pulls Yang Chen to drink tea and play Chinese chess with him. Honestly speaking, old Li is a chess-playing grandpa who is playing against Yang Chen, who has absolutely no idea how to play. In the meantime, Li Jingjing helps her mother clean up the table. After losing the game of chess, Yang Chen feels that the soup, alcohol and tea didn't mix very well in his stomach, so he tells old Li to wait, and runs towards the toilet to release his floodgates first. Old Li's house toilet is at the back of the house in a separate shack. After walking through the small alleyway, the muddle-headed Yang Chen unsteadily pushes the wooden door of the toilet open. Kyyaaa. A sharp and panicking sound enters Yang Chen's ears. Immediately raising his head, Yang Chen is dumbfounded. In front of his eyes is Li Jingjing who seems to be finishing showering, and at this moment this little beauty has nothing covering her body. Although the 40-watt light bulb is not very bright, it is enough to let Yang Chen clearly see the waistline full of youth and vitality. A tiny black patch was hanging on the waist, the pepper-like hot breasts of Li Jingjing was hurriedly covered with her hand, yet was difficult to cover it due to its plumpness like round cakes. Slightly below the breasts is a smooth waistline without excess flesh. Li Jingjing's other hand covers the thick rainforest below, with a pair of round thighs tightly clamps over that erogenous zone. Li Jingjing does not know that her actions are greatly increasing her allure. Yang Chen, who originally is feeling dizzy from the alcohol, feels boosted by the hormones from seeing Li Jingjing's unripe yet enticing body. He could not help but swallow his saliva as a part of him which is holding violent desires begins to rise. Chapter 12. Yang. Big brother Yang, please get out. Li Jingjing turns away. She's on the verge of crying from fear of having her round bottom seen. Listening to the cries of the young lady which had not the slightest impurity, Yang Chen finally calms his bloodshot eyes, sucks in a deep breath, and suppresses his rash desires, immediately closing the doors and backing off. He then quietly waits outside. A few moments later, Li Jingjing, who is now properly clothed, walks out with her head facing downward, with the blushing on her face reaching her ears. Yang Chen apologetically says, "I'm sorry Jingjing, I didn't do it on purpose." Li Jingjing replies with a mosquito-thin, sound and says, I know. Big brother Yang is a good person. A good person huh? Yang Chen quietly mutters with a sour smile on his face and then says, Jingjing, in the future when you make some money, you should buy yourself a good apartment, doing it with a loan is fine too. It is inconvenient for a young lady like yourself to always live with your parents. It's hard to tell whether the girl actually heard what was said, as she has the appearance of a pitiful wounded little sheep. Yang Chen sighs, it is late, you should go get some rest, since tomorrow you have to go to work. As a new teacher you need to have a good record. I'll return home after using the toilet. Quote. Accidentally witnessing Li Jingjing shower has completely sobered Yang Chen up. His heart filled with guilt towards the innocent girl, Yang Chen returns home with farewells from the old Li couple. After closing the door, the old Li couple begin to discuss about Yang Chen. Aunt Li looking somewhat concerned says, Old man, do you think our Jingjing has fallen for little Yang? Why do her eyes seem so cheerful when looking at the boy? Falling for that boy is not a bad thing, little Yang and our Jingjing are pretty compatible, don't you think? Old Li happily says. What are you saying? It is true that little Yang has a good personality, but in the end isn't he still a lamb skewer seller? Our Jingjing is a high school teacher now, are you going to let Jingjing marry someone who sells mutton skewers in the future? Aunt Li angrily said. Old Li took one drag from his cigarette and then says, What's the matter, are you looking down on us poor traders? Little Yang has helped us many times, and if it wasn't because of our family, would he be selling mutton skewers like this? Seeing her husband getting angry, Aunt Li stops speaking, yet internally she decides that she will never allow her daughter to be together with Yang Chen. At most, she will treat Yang Chen to a few more meals as compensation. However, the old couple have yet to know that their treasured daughter, Li Jingjing, is silently standing upstairs by the window watching Yang Chen leave with a blushing face and thumping heart. Walking along the riverbank, Yang Chen purchases a $2 pack of West River cigarettes from a convenience store, and smokes on the way back to his residence. Inside, he is thinking of the time when he first returned to the country. He remembers the bits and pieces of memories of meeting Li Jingjing and her family, who used to be a silly little girl who suddenly became a youthful pretty lady. He can't help but feel how the age of 18 can blossom a girl into a woman, and then he laments on the world's chaoticness. He remembers on this riverside he rescued Li Jingjing from being raped by scoundrels, and later acquainted himself with old Li's family. Perhaps every girl has a hero in the. While thinking about such matters, Yang Chen unknowingly walks to the river's dock. Under the street lights' pale illumination, it is exposing a hazy sense of beauty. The summer breeze blew past, bringing whizzing coolness. On the road ahead, a big and tall SUV appeared while he was thinking. Yang Chen's eyes shine as a tall woman in a black dress stood beside the riverside fence. The drifting waves roll, the street lamps' light disperses streaks of rosy red, as to shine on a charming pale face. A pair of watery eyes stare at an indistinct yacht far away, expressing a hard-to-notice sorrow. This well-developed figure demonstrates a mature type of charm, ample breasts and a round plump butt, all packed in a black cotton dress yet still drawing the attention of people's eyes. Under her slender thighs wrapped inside a pair of beige-colored stockings, is a pair of crystal-shaded high-heel shoes, with a noble and elegant smell spreading out from her body. Yang Chen only needs one glance to know that she is absolutely the best kind of prey for tonight. Earlier, seeing Li Jingjing's naked body has boiled his blood, and now once again it shows indications of heating up again. Nice car, never thought that I could see a limited model of the Land Rover, which only has 40 existing models in the entire country. Here at this place, Yang Chen wryly compliments while he slowly leans on the railings. The beautiful lady's distant-looking eyes are taken aback. She gently turns her head, showing a face that displays a little bit of confusion and surprise. But what followed suit was a nice and graceful smile. You recognize this car? More than just being able to recognize this type of handmade British Land Rover, I had blown up no less than several hundred of these cars back in the day. Yang Chen sourly laughs inside his heart, while at the same time displaying a content face and leisurely says, Anniversary, the Land Rover's 40-year anniversary edition, maximum power of 375 kilowatts, peak torque of 625, 5.0-liter supercharged, its style cannot be mistaken elsewhere. I don't understand anything of what you just said. I just like this car, so I bought it. The lady strokes her fluttering hair. This is such a simple movement, yet it is also very alluring and enchanting. Don't most ladies like small and elegant sports cars? The Porsche 911, Mercedes-Benz SLR, BMW Z4, even the appearance of Audi TT is much more preferred in comparison to Land Rovers. I do not believe someone who can afford to buy this car couldn't afford to buy those types. Yang Chen takes out a cigarette. Since the woman in front of him did not reject him, he wouldn't mind chatting more. The lady shakes her head. I do not feel that way. The feeling of driving an expensive sports car cannot compare to the sense of security that driving an SUV gives. Shouldn't all ladies begin protect themselves better? My beautiful lady, it seems like you lack a sense of security. Yang Chen's heart starts bursting with joy. This seems to be an unhappy married lady, and this type of lady is the easiest to seduce. No one would expect the woman to still shake her head. You're wrong, I feel very safe. The reason I said driving an SUV would give me a better sense of security, is merely to give one's own heart some more comfort. You might be the person who is wrong. If you really have a sense of security, right now you would have given me a slap and told me to get lost. Yang Chen smiles maliciously, and puffs out smoke from his mouth. The woman does not dodge the smoke as the cigarette's pungent smell dissipates in the wind. A pair of eyes shining like stars stare straight at Yang Chen. In the end, she laughs brilliantly. Which family are you from, young master? If you are thinking of using such words to attract me, Tang Wan's attention, then you are underestimating me too much. Your name is Tang Wan. Yang Chen silently says it out twice, then he laughs and said, I'm not a young master from any family. I am but a simple mutton skewer seller. If you have some free time, you could come and find me in the West District Market. Mutton skewer seller. Tang Wan seriously evaluates Yang Chen for a few moments, and then, unable to hold back her laughter, a soft PFFT sound comes out. She trembles like a flower in the wind for a moment, then says, Mr. Handsome, are you treating me as a fool, or are you just joking around? I'm really a mutton skewer seller, although I do not have a business license. Yang Chen irritatedly says and wonders to himself why nobody in this modern age believes him when he tells the truth. Chapter 13. Tang Wan gives out a cold, HMPH sound, then suddenly stretches out her pale white hands, in one movement grabbing onto Yang Chen's collared shirt button, charmingly rolls her eyes at Yang Chen, and says, a handmade collared shirt from Italy. This style is designed specially for royal families, yet it does not have a brand or logo. However, the button is made of blue diamonds from South Africa, with state-of-the-art polishing technology. This simple piece of clothing is priced at least at 10 million RMB. Do you seriously think nobody would recognize such a product, and instead think you are wearing an inferior brand shirt with plastic buttons? Yang Chen is embarrassed as he did not expect that anybody would recognize his shirt's true value. However, he soon turns to laughter and said, Miss Tang indeed has a great insight, however you are still wrong. This blue diamond was produced in Namibia, and not South Africa. And you still say that you're not a young master from any family. Only few in the entire Shanghai is qualified to wear clothes that use Namibian blue diamonds as buttons. It is not fun to lie. Tang Wan squints her eyes as she has nothing left to say. Yang Chen ferociously takes the few last drags off the cigarette, then tosses it into the river, and says in a depressed manner, Miss Tang, let us not beat around the bush. It is true that you are beautiful. If I, Yang Chen, would like to sleep with you, there's no reason for me to pretend to be a mutton skewer seller to do so. I had already said that I'm just a mutton skewer seller. Who says a mutton skewer seller can't wear a shirt that is worth 10 million? Can't you just trust me, and change the subject into something more romantic? That is very unrefined speech. Tang Wan does not hesitate to criticize him, but she follows it with a smile like a blooming flower. However, I like your straightforwardness. Alright, I will temporarily treat you as a mutton skewer seller. However, Mr. Young, I never intended to sleep with you, and more so with a mutton skewer seller. I'm not tempted for it in the slightest. Then what was this long conversation for? Yang Chen feels a little down as he initially thought that he had coincidentally met a prey that would leap into his arms. But who knew the other party would have no intentions regarding this matter. Tang Wan chuckles, a pair of peaks and ridges shake on her chest. Mr. Young, you're really a reckless man, much more pleasing to the eye than those men who pretend to be refined. It is a pity I'm not the kind of woman you think I am. The reason I spoke all these words to you, is merely because my heart felt a little stifled earlier. What now? Now, my mood is much better, I want to thank you for that. If fate exists, we shall meet again, and I'll treat you to tea. Done with speaking, Tang Wan walks towards her Land Rover, stops halfway, turns around, tenderly smiles and says, right, I suggest you do not blow your smoke at a lady in the future. The majority of ladies aren't nightclub hostesses, and they will not enjoy your impolite actions. Finished speaking, she sways her voluminous figure back into the car. After the Land Rover had disappeared into the distance like a leopard in the dark, Yang Chen then grudgingly mutters to himself, is selling mutton skewers really that bad? Do I have to change occupations? The next morning, soon after waking up, Yang Chen hears someone knocking on his room's door with a bam bam sound. Feeling depressed, Yang Chen gets off his bed and walks to the door in only his briefs. He opens the door to reveal. Upon seeing Yang Chen's muscular upper body, Lin Ruoxi unintentionally blushes, but she maintains her poker face and says, hurry up and put on some clothes, I'm in a rush. Yang Chen scratched his head. I say, Miss Lin, for a marriage certificate why are you in such a hurry? Can't you wait for me to take a shower and eat breakfast first? That won't do, I have a meeting at 10. Lin Ruoxi's tone does not allow any rejection. Don't forget to bring your bankbook and ID card. Being helpless in front of this woman's might, Yang Chen quickly puts on his sleeved shirt and shorts. He then follows Lin Ruoxi downstairs and they get into her red Bentley car together. Lin Ruoxi takes 2 big bags from the trunk, tosses them to Yang Chen and says without turning back, change into these, so that we are not making a joke of ourselves. Yang Chen has only now noticed that Lin Ruoxi is currently wearing a formal beige-colored suit obviously made by the hands of professionals, with flowing lines as to complement Lin Ruoxi's enchanting curves, highlighting her ice-cold temperaments yet still showing her beautiful intellectual face. In the eyes of men, her beauty is definitely captivating enough to ruin a country. Hey, my sweet honey, the official marriage is yet to be done, but you have already purchased clothes for your husband. Yang Chen laughs shamelessly, and takes out from the large bag a pair of Western Armani suit and trousers, and also a pair of brand new Pierre Cardin leather shoes. Obviously a lot of thoughtful preparation was put into this. Lin Ruoxi earnestly drives and pretends to not hear anything, as she is lazy to respond to Yang Chen's shameless tone. Yang Chen is very flexible. Despite sitting in a narrow seat, he effortlessly changes into the brand new set of luxury clothing, and in a very narcissistically manner, he uses the car's mirror to comb his hair. He now looks like a completely different person. Although she is looking forward, Lin Ruoxi couldn't help but sneakily peek at Yang Chen for a few moments. Upon seeing Yang Chen in a Western suit and tie, Lin Ruoxi feels her heart is beating faster. This makes her feel a little shameful, but the man's free and unrestrained look, and eyes which occasionally show sadness, all of them somewhat fascinated her. In this Western suit, Yang Chen possesses more extraordinary charisma than any of those young masters from those wealthy families. Lin Ruoxi comforts herself in her heart saying, at least he is able to pose, so he won't humiliate me when we go out. Speeding through the traffic, and after getting Yang Chen's colored photo done along the way, the two soon arrive at the Civil Administration Bureau. After getting off the car, Lin Ruoxi hesitates for a moment, but still clenches her teeth and hooks onto Yang Chen's arm while making an appearance of an innocent and happy girl. Yang Chen couldn't help but laugh, and says, my smart sweet honey, you have started acting already. You're so professional. You're not allowed to laugh. We have signed the contract, so do your job properly. Lin Ruoxi glares at Yang Chen. Yang Chen helplessly sighs, allowing Lin Ruoxi to cling onto his arms. Either way, this arm could occasionally rub against Lin Ruoxi's soft and abundant chest. It is a good thing to be able to take advantage of this. Lin Ruoxi feels it as well, but she can only angrily clench her teeth and endure it. After all, there will be many occasions in the future which will require this fake act, so it is fine to let this rascal profit a little. Walking into the main doors of the Civil Administration Bureau, this ideal couple's looks attracts everyone's attention. Yang Chen seems cool and free despite being covered in branded clothes, while Lin Ruoxi possesses a beauty that can make fish forget to swim and birds forget to fly. In the eyes of the people around them, they seem like a match made in heaven. The Civil Administration Bureau employee simply verifies their documents and quickly carries on with the procedures. Then with a congratulatory smile, he says to the two, "Congratulations to you both, this is your marriage certificate, please take a good care of it. A couple like you two sure can make people full of envy. You will definitely live a long and happy life together." Lin Ruoxi keeps on holding Yang Chen's wrist. Being stared at by those around her causes her face to flush red for quite a while. Upon receiving the marriage certificate, she feels like she is dreaming because of these strange circumstances. "I am now actually married to a man I've only known for a day," Lin Ruoxi, with confused eyes glances at Yang Chen, realizing that right now Yang Chen is also stupidly staring at the marriage certificate, spellbound. Is he also filled with complicated emotions? What is he thinking of now? Does he dislike it, or is he happy? Lin Ruoxi suddenly began questioning herself, and then feels frightened. Why would I care about what he thinks? Yang Chen suddenly turns his head, face to face with Lin Ruoxi, maliciously smiles and says, "What's the matter, my sweetheart? It can't be that you are beginning to regret your decision right after receiving the marriage certificate. Since you were the one who forcefully pulled me here. You think I willingly marry you?" Lin Ruoxi bitterly says in a small voice, "However you can be at ease, when I, Lin Ruoxi, decide upon something, I never go back on it, you just need to behave well and coordinate with me to act for the next 3 years. It will suffice as long as you don't create problems for me." After the two walk out of the bureau, Lin Ruoxi quickly releases her hand on Yang Chen's arm and returns to her usual frosty face. "All right, I've got to go for a meeting, you can go home first." "Go home? Please don't say that you want me to walk back there." Yang Chen feels bitterness in his mouth. Right after registering their marriage certificate, his too high-class wife wants him, her new husband, to walk tens of kilometers home. Lin Ruoxi takes out a card from her leather bag and hands it to Yang Chen. On top of the printed card is an address written in a graceful font, 89 Dragon Garden, Culture Road. "Since we are already married, on the surface we will need to live together. Otherwise we won't be able to trick others. You should move in together with me, and quickly get out of that dog kennel of yours." After those words, without even turning back, she gets on her car and drives away. Yang Chen laughs in a manner that looks uglier than crying as he mumbles to himself, "In the end, I still have to walk."